Let's consider, you've drafted your questions out, now it's time to look at them. The first thing to think about is, can they understand the question? You know your subject well. I mean, you've been living with this day in, day out for, what, months? You understand it well. But the people you're asking don't understand it anywhere near so well. So we need to think about, will they be able to understand? One that comes up from time to time is asking about something new. People might not have heard about it. It might be a groundbreaking theory that's making some difference in software development, or it could be the latest management fad that not everybody's heard about. So it's possible you're asking about something that's new, although it's not strange, it's just that people haven't heard about it, and you may have to explain it. Can they understand the language? Now, do they understand the terminology, the concepts and terminology? And I guess importantly, is their understanding the same as yours? Where words have this habit of being contextualized and put in the situation. Now, lack of understanding introduces variability, and that dilutes the value of your data. There are huge comedy sketches based on complete misinterpretation of what somebody says, and research questions are no different. Now, lack of understanding can also lead to answering a completely different question, aside from straight malevolence. And I guess the other thing to think about is that specialized terms can cause problems. Now, as an example, can they understand? So an example of a question is, what development processes do you use? Sounds simple enough. I mean, I personally, I work with software development processes all the time. And I have been doing that for about, 15 years or so. I know about the ISO standards on software process. I know about business process management. I know about various other forms of process and different process definitions and different process models. I know what I mean. But if I go to somebody, they might not know what I mean by a process. I guess one pretty good example is that the concept of process has got a different granularity. For some people, the process is the entire thing from beginning to end. For other people, the process is the small atomic activities that people do. So we immediately have a different view of what a process is. So if I'm asking you about development processes, I'm assuming that there's a common understanding of what the development process is. Assume, for example, I want to ask about formal testing. Well, the first thing is, what do you mean by formal? And then, what do you mean by testing? Because for some people, formal testing is fully specified documented testing. And testing is only running the finished program, executing the program, to see what it does. For other people, testing is any time of review or revision or evaluation you do to any of the products within software development. So that includes a review of the requirements is testing. Not everybody agrees, so we're going to have to do it. One that could be asked, and has been asked from time to time, is how agile is your software development? Well, what's your measure of agile? So it's a problem. There have been some measures of agility proposed, but they're not there's not a widespread agreement in the industry about just what's a measure of agility. It's not like function points or something. Now, with understanding, we have the problem of vocabulary, and we have the common examples from different languages. Any matter of great concern to a group of people will usually develop a specialized vocabulary for that concern. And the examples normally given is that the Inuit Eskimos have supposedly about 42 different terms for different types of snow, because they have to work with it. They have to know whether it's snow that is soft powder snow, slushy snow, snow that will collapse, snow that's deep, snow that's got a crust on it that can hold the weight of a dog but not a person, snow that has a complete crust on it that can hold the weight of a person, things like that. And so they get 42 different terms. One other example is the slave Indians of Canada. They've got 18 different words for different types of ice. They don't have, I don't know whether they have a collective term meaning ice, as we do, but they have 18 different terms for different types of ice. We just call the whole thing ice. Now, to test this out, some years ago, I lucked onto a website that was used by the surfing community, mostly in South Sydney. And I thought, okay, I'll ask, how many different terms do they have to describe different types of surf? The answer was somewhere over 100. And the table of them all is there on that page. Now, I did check. I watched, this generated quite a lot of discussion on the discussion board. So there was enough discussion for me to check that the terms were accepted in the community, were used in the community, and displayed a genuine difference, that people did use the terms for different things. So they had about 100 different terms, where I just used surf. So any community will develop a specialized vocabulary. That is, every community has a jargon. And if you are working in that community, you should use that jargon, as long as it makes sense, as commonly used within the industry. So what you can do there is you construct the questions using the jargon, and then you test your questions. But you're always going to test your questions anyway, aren't you? So in summary then, communication is uneven because you have more specific knowledge of your topic than your respondents will have. So you have to go to them. They won't come to you. The language that you use in your questions should be that of the community, not yours. And it's important that the respondents can understand the questions clearly.